Hello, chat. Hello. So today I did have plans to um stream inside the back rooms with Cry, but his power went out, so we obviously can't play inside the back rooms. So today we're just gonna do a little bit um of a revision stream. Do what we did last week, where I'll just talk through talk through like maybe like a 60 marker or an 8 marker. I keep forgetting to check through my question pack. All I've got right now in here is just attachment in my notes. It's just attachment questions and a few like a couple like got some attachment questions and some social influence questions. I think I want to do an attachment question today, and because I haven't been through like the whole of attachment. There's like two parts of attachment that I haven't been properly through yet, which is the role of the father, um, and um, effect on adult relationships. We're gonna do a question on early attachment on adult relationships. So the question is: discuss research into the influence of early attachment on adult relationships. So let's switch to our Google Doc. And this is the question we did last week: outline and evaluate research into the effects of failure to form attachment. So now we're going to do discuss research. Why isn't it let discuss research into the influence of early attachment to on adult relationships? So discuss questions are basically just the same as um evaluate questions. You just have to like give like the pros and cons of it, you know. um I would still, this is mainly an, and I need to put my phone on charge so I can reach out on there, but yeah, I would still put AO1 into it. And in these kind of discuss research questions, I would usually put I think I said this last week, because our last week was a research question, I think. The last week question, yeah, was a research question. So I would give like two questions on, no, not two questions, two pieces of research. So okay, so where is this in my um okay, here it is. So this would mainly be um like romantic relationships. We've got, so what we've learned in like my college is that we've got um relation we from what we've learned on like on attachment on a life is relationships in late childhood and then adulthood with romantic partners. um I would mainly talk about the adulthood with romantic partners. I just don't think, yeah, there's not really much else. So I mean, you could just really go into detail with this. I don't remember if this is um an 8 marker or a 16 marker or not, because it's literally only one study we learn about. Um and so yeah. So I'm gonna go through the AL1, like, so this is basically what the same, I think this would probably be like the same structure. I don't remember how the marks are distributed, but I'm guessing there'll be less marks for AO1 and more marks for AO3. That's my guess, because it's just a discuss question. It's not like outline and evaluate. So, okay, let's talk about it. So this is the main study we learn about is Hazen and Shaver study. Um, they did a love quiz with six 620 participants, 205 men and 415 women. So a gender bias criticism wouldn't really be necessary here. Um, so 42% of the participants were married and 31% were dating. So about like 73% were like in like a committed relationship. Um so there was three sections in like this study that and these sections assess so the three sections that like kind of the quiz studied or gathered like information about were the current or like most important relationships, general love experiences. So this can be like number of partners, for example. Um, and attachment types. Um, and how they kind of assessed or studied this was that they got participants to um, like choose statements that describe what how that describe their like, feelings, I guess. Okay, so that's like basically it for like the main procedure. Now, for the findings, for the findings, it was found that 56% of participants were securely attached. 25% had an insecure avoidant attachment. Um, and 19% had an insecure resistant. Insecure resistant attachment. Let's see. So those who were, so I'm gonna put, no. So, those who were securely attached, the I don't even know what I was trying to merge. I don't know why, but I said retouched instead of attached. Whatever. So those who were securely attached were more likely to have like longer lasting slash like good. That's literally all I wrote down. I do not remember. I don't know remember like the context of that relationships. So they're gonna have longer lasting like, good relationships. Let's see. Those who were those who had an insecure avoidant attachment were more likely to be jealous at or had a fear of intimacy. Um, I don't have one for resistant, but basically pattern patterns of attachment, so like their behavior, reflected in their romantic behaviors. And I actually have a table in my book here of like some of the attachment behaviors that they would have like some attachment behaviors that were shown in the strange situation. So in the strange situation, this study uses the attachment types that were proposed by Ainsworth in the strange situation study. And I'm gonna put this slightly down. So it goes off secure, resistant, and avoidant. Um, with with those, so in Ainsworth's study, those who were securely attached found the mother as a safe base. And when the mother and infant reunited, the infant was overall just generally happy. Um, the the infant would just happily explore while still use it while still going back to the um but going back to the mother as a safe base whenever they're scared and stuff. The securely attached child would have anxiety around the stranger, but this would stop or reduce whenever they were around the mother. And also they had separation anxiety from the mother, but this stopped when the mother and infant reunited. With those who had a resistant attachment, the infant would stay close to the mother, and during their reunion, they would approach the mother, but whenever the mother would go to pick them up, they would resist. They would be like, nope, don't even pick it up. The infant wouldn't explore. They had stranger anxiety and separation anxiety. And then with those who had an avoidant attachment, the infant would not really stay close. Cry! Hello! Hello, Cry! Hello! Hello! I wish we could have streamed inside the back room, but you know. And then whenever the infant with the avoidant attachment would reunite with the mother, the infant would just ignore the mother. Um, the infant would explore, wouldn't have stranger anxiety, and wouldn't have separation anxiety. So those are kind of the three types of attachment. The power is still not off. Oh no! No! Oh no! That's so sad. That if we should try and stream it tomorrow if you can. I'm not in college tomorrow because of and you keep pausing because it's your service. Oh no, no. But yeah, we should try and stream it tomorrow if you can. I know I'm off tomorrow because it's a bank holiday for us in England. So we should try and stream it tomorrow. Um. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the AO1 of this study. Let's add in insert table. Okay, we're gonna add in the pros and the cons of this research. Let's see. Oh yeah, I gotta add in. This was also proposed to be this was also called. This is a big pragmatic L for real, real, real. My phone is on 45%. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Um, they also propose this to be called the continuity hypothesis. Continuity hypothesis. It's so like ironic that when we actually plan to stream something together, your power goes out. That's just so ironic. Um, so this is I think this is based off internal working models because in my booklet, um, or like has something to do with internal working models because in my booklet it has like the A1 at the top of Hassan and Shaver's study, but then it has the evaluation for internal working models at the bottom. But then it says it has the AO1 for internal working models on like the previous page. So I'm just reading through this so I can understand it. Um. Okay, so I'm just gonna read out one of the AO3 boxes, which is like one of the evaluation points. So this is one of the supportive like evidence. So internal working models predict continuity between the security of an infant's attachment and that of later relationships. Evidence to support this comes from McCarthy, who studied 40 adult women, found that those who were classified as securely attached in infancy had the best adult friendships and relationships as adults. Adults classified as insecure or resistant in infancy had problems maintaining friendships, and adults classified as insecure avoiding in infancy struggled with intimacy and romantic relationships. However, not all studies support internal working models. Zimmerman assessed infant attachment type and adolescent attachment to parents and found that there were little relationship between the quality of infant and adolescent attachment. This is a limitation because not it would not what we would expect if internal working models were important in development. So I would probably only talk about McCarthy's study. So 40 adult women. However this study does have a relatively small sample, so it does call into the question of the population validity of this supportive evidence. Securely attached. Um, best adult friendships slash romantic relationships. I don't know why I put romantic and that it just says relationships. Um, avoiding um struggled with intimacy, intimacy and romantic relationships, and then those who are insecure resistant. Um, problems maintaining um friendships. Okay. But we could just like um the way I would do it is out the way I would probably set out this study this well the way I would set out this question have the area one in one paragraph, and then have McCarthy's study as another paragraph, and then in the same paragraph, I would like do like some like small criticisms of the study. So, for example, um, let me there we go. Let me just put in McCarthy. So, black population validity, because it was a small sample, so it cannot be generalized. It was also gene centric, so it cannot be um, applied to males. Um, this is because gene centric just basically means it was like an all women sample in like the study. You know how like, and the opposite of that would be androcentric, where where like most of the where like all the sample is all male. So androcentric all male, genocentric all female. Um. Okay, let's see. What else? So this could also be like supportive of like not only adult relationships, because it says early attachment on adult relationships, so it's not just like romantic relationships. This can also be like parent relationships. You could probably put this as its own paragraph. So, and not just as like supportive of Hassan and Shaver's study. So, Bailey et al. Assessed 99 mothers with 1 year old babies on the quality of attachment to their own mothers using a standard interview. They assessed the baby's attachment to the mothers through observation. It was found that mothers who reported poor attachment to their own parents were much more likely to have infants classified as poorly attached. This not only like supports um like early attachment affecting um like later adult relationships. It also supports Bowlby's idea of like internal working models being passed through like generations. So let's write this in. Um, you could only put I would say maybe put like two support, since we only have like one main study. I would probably put in like one or two like supportive studies as well. So Bailey et al. 1999 mothers, 1 year old babies. Oh my god. This is I don't trust myself. This is why the back. This is why the undo button was created. This is why the undo button was created. Quality of attachment. That's what it assessed. Quality of attachment to their own mothers. They used a standard interview. Now, criticism of a standard interview would be, I think it's that it tends to use leading questions, which are basically like questions that indirectly route you to like a specific answer. So for example, I remember in one study, I cannot remember the researchers' names, but it's a social influence research. But like in a follow up study. Um, hello, Idfeezy, hello. But in a follow up study, um, I'm going off a social influence tangent, but I remember that one of the studies was for having leading criticized for having leading questions, because basically it was having participants watch a video of like a car crash and or something along those lines, and There was originally no broken glass, but I think the point of that was like the effect of leading questions. And it was like participants were asked, "Did you see any broken glass?" Or I can't remember the other question. I'll have to go over that study. But yeah, I think standard interviews have been criticized having um for having leading questions. So that's like that could be like your like one of your like a that could be like a small counterpoint to like the study or a small criticism of Bailey's supportive study. So they use a standard interview. Um, Mothers who had like poor attachment with their own like mothers with their own parents had a poor had a poorly attached infant. Um, but this was an interview, so it was and it was based on attachment that the mothers had when they were younger. So you can criticize this by I think the main criticism people have is that it's based on retro. I can't remember if it's retrospective or retroactive. I think it might be because I was revising memory earlier, but I think it's retrospective. Retrospective data. Um, so the data may not be like accurate because it's based on memories, and the memories could have been, distorted or something like that. You know. Um. Oh, about attachment theories. Yes. Hello, sugar. Hello. I'm so knowledgeable about this. One of the topics you actually did in psychology A level. But hello, sugar. Hello. We're going over research into adult relationship of early attachment on adult relationships. So welcome on in and welcome on in. I'm gonna make that bold. Yes, hello, hello, welcome on in, welcome on in. But yeah, you could criticize this study by saying, based on retrospective data, whatever it's called, so the memories that the mothers had of their own childhood could have been distorted or incorrect. Like there's no like hard proof. There's no like hard proof. Excited stuff. Indeed. There's no like hard proof evidence. There's no quantitative data saying that these like mothers had these attachments in their own childhood. So therefore it lacks internal validity. There we go. So Bailey, what's the other criticism I had? I should have wrote this down. Oh, they assess the baby's attachment to the mothers through observation. So, um, let me put this here. Assess baby's attachment to mothers through uh dude, stop asking for her to unban you. Through observation. Um, based on. Okay, dude, leave sugar alone. You're doing this on Friday as well. Leave sugar alone. Um, ways that may not be accurate. no sensitive data to prove the attachments lower in internal validity. Lowest internal validity. What's the other one I had? What's the other criticism I had? Leading questions. No, no, you cannot. Yeah, no need to bring it into my chat. Also, that is a word comment. So, no. Okay, I'm timing this person out. Reading through these notes reminds me of why I dropped out. There's so much. There's just so much. Like, I love psychology, but there's just so much research. Like, I was talking about this to my friend the other day. But like I can generally say like talk about the theories and what they are. I just keep forgetting the research. Like there's some research that I can just there's some research that I've just gone over like quite a few times so I remember it, like Ash's study and Zabato's study. Like there's one study in memory and in biopsych. I don't know if you did this, sugar, but it's Maguire's study with like the taxi drivers who had like a larger amount of gray matter in like a cortex. I think it was in like the prefrontal cortex or whatever. That's like that. Those are like the only studies I can like fully remember and like give like full AO3 on, like give full AO3 on. There's other studies as well that I can kind of remember. I think I left by that topic. Right. But I mean, there's a few other like pieces of research that I like kind of do remember. Like for example, like cultural variations into attachment. Like I'm kind of alright. It's just the percentages. I know my webcam. The percentages might be fewer. Some are for cultural variations into attachment. But yeah, I'm not good with research at all. Like I think it's researchers' names and like the percentages that I really like. I keep hitting my wire for my webcam. Remembering the numbers were never fun. Exactly. I think it was that I can probably just like easily describe what the studies were about, but it's just like the names and the percentages that I always get wrong. Like I remember, like it was like earlier. It was either earlier this week or last week. We did like a little like mini mock on like just like attachment and a few other bits and pieces. Um, and then one of the 8 markers was actually cultural variations into attachment, and I could detail out or I could like write about the study, blah, blah, blah. I think you can get away with just describing the studies if you do it well enough. Yeah, you can. Like I remember, it was Eisendolen's study, and I got the percentages slightly off. Like I still got a mark for it. It's just it was annoying because the actual percentages are 67%, 21%, and 13%, I think. And I got 67%. I got that one right. 20 20% and 12%. So I was slightly off, and it's so annoying to get them slightly off. Like if you can get them like close enough around the percentage, you close enough to the actual like result, then you'll probably be fine. But it's just annoying when like you're like 1% off. Like you're like 1% off. You know? Wait, let me get it. Let me get it. I got it in here somewhere. I've got it in here somewhere. Here it is. Here it is. So close. It was so close. Let me let me read out what I actually wrote. So I'm just gonna read out my AO1 paragraph because I wrote quite a bit. So I wrote, Eisenthorn completed a meta-analysis across 32 studies in 8 countries. It was found that overall, secure attachments were the most common at 67%, avoidant attachments at 20%, and resistant attachments at 13%. Okay, so the actual percentage is 12, not 13. I got them mixed up. It was also found that there were more intracultural differences than intercultural, meaning that there were more variations within cultures/countries than between cultures and countries. If you get it, you get it. For example, in one study from the USA, 97% of infants had a secure attachment, while in another study from the USS, only 7% had a secure attachment. Okay, I think I was remembering like a slightly different study for the intracultural intercultural, or like one like different like one of the different studies um from the meta analysis, because there was like quite a few within the meta analysis that were from the USA. Because in the booklet it says it's like 47% instead of like something. I vaguely remember this stuff. I mean, to be fair, I don't expect you to like remember all of this because it has been like a year since you did psychology. So again, I don't remember to do this. I also kind of only vaguely remember it because I've actually revised over it. Like, I remember, like, last year, I only did revision like a week before our exams, and I did terribly. So, I did absolutely terribly. Now I just revise, like a lot. Like, if you see me online on Discord, but I just know the buzzwords. Fair, fair. But yeah, if you see me online on Discord, but I'm not like, if you don't see me like playing a game or like in a call, it's probably because I'm just revising. Much better method. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Just revise. Now I'm actually doing like somewhat decently. I guess still not great, but like, I'm you know what, at least, but you know what, at least I'm not going into a medical course. At least I'm not setting my expectations that high, because for medical courses and like dentistry courses and stuff in uni, you need like ABB at the least, just from what I've seen, and I am not getting ABBs. Like for psychology at the uni I want to go to, I need like 100-ish UCAS points. If you don't know, each grade over here in England, if you guys don't know, over here in England, each grade corresponds with like a number of points that you have to get into uni or into like a course. Um, and for like 100-ish UCAS points, I need to get like DDE or like DD or like all Ds. I mean, that's just me though, cause I also have 20 UCAS points from when I did core maths last year. So I just need like DDD at least, and that is achievable for me. That is achievable for me. I think that's why I started doing revision streams, just so I can get like my grades higher and get a guarantee that I can get onto like the main psychology course I want to get onto. But yeah, at least I'm not doing like medical course. At least I'm not doing like medical courses. Okay. Let's actually get back to this. So, it's a standard interview. Um, so that means it potentially has leading questions. Also, on the exam, I'm hoping that stats saves me, because I've gotten pretty good at like stats questions. Now we are still learning about like stats in biology, but they're easy. It's literally just calculations for like two, and that and like doing some questions that are like similar to like the stuff we've already done, like talking about like significance and stuff. But like the stats questions, we did one on this assessment. I will get it out again so I can read you guys out my answer, because it was perfect. And I given myself full bragging rights. because I used to only get like half marks on stats questions because I used to forget AO2. Where is it? But on this one, I got 7 out of 7, and yes, I'm advancing. I'm, you know. So it's just basically which statistical test could be most suitable to analyze the data in a new investigation. With reference to the investigation, explain 3 reasons for your choice of test. Now we had to include AO2 in this, which is why it's a 7 marker. So So what I put for it is it's a test of difference as they are investigating the influence of attachment type on bullying experience. It is an independent group design. As those with a secure attachment in childhood were placed in group 1 and those with an insecure attachment in childhood were placed in group 2. The data is nominal as the participants were classed as having experience with bullying or no experience with bullying. This means that the statistical test is chi-squared. Now, for me, I don't know why, but I think okay. I know right. I know why I revised it, but I can now just like envision. I can like actually visualize the stats table in my head. I think I might do stats next week, or like, do a little bit on stats next week. Just basically like talking about it and what you would say, because I've gotten like pretty good at stats now. I'm just hoping I will save me on the actual exam. But yeah, yeah. Anyways, let's actually get back to this. So, standard interview, potential as leading questions. Um, could the mothers could give false answers, which lowers internal validity. Now, for me personally, like for the criticism of the study, I would probably just stick with the retrospective data. Criticism, yeah. I haven't actually criticized like this study yet because I cannot. Oh wait, all right, I can. Okay, so it's a self-report, right? Which would basically be the same as so it's a self-report. So it's basically just the same point, just based on retrospective data. Um, so memories might not be active, may not be accurate even. So and there's no quantitative data to prove the attachments, which lowers internal validity. Um, does those numbers add up to 100? Don't know if they do or not. 56 plus 25 plus 19. Okay, yes they do. Yes they do. Um, um, let's see. I cannot actually remember how you improve validity. I might go over a bit of research methods next week. I'm not. I think maybe next week I might do half research methods and maybe half like either social influence or memory. It depends. It depends. So, um, what else? What else? Um, now that in my booklet, there is a study by Myron Wilson and Smith. But this is mainly on later childhood, and this specifically asks for adult relationships. So it wouldn't um probably wouldn't um talk about that. So we've got some cons on here. One of them being what we just talked about. Most studies have relied on retrospective reports from adults of their internal working models as children, which means they could be low on internal validity as they acquire accurate recollections. So yeah, that's basically what we've just already said. Um, another con is perceiving the quality of later relationships as being caused solely by the quality of early attachment is reductionist as it ignores other factors such as financial pressures or age differences. between the partners. So I don't know why I separated these out. It's reductionist, only focuses on quality of early attachment. Only focuses on quality and early attachment as affecting adult relationships, and it doesn't consider um consider other factors such as age difference or financial idea. To be fair, I do tend to write like a lot. I tend to ramble, so this is probably way more than you might actually need. I tend to like ramble on and like stuff. Like when I know something and I really want to explain the point, I tend to ramble a lot. So this may not be like you. This may be just more than you would ever need to add. Um, um, another another con, I guess, like criticism. So Wood et al., the researcher, believes the quality of relationships results from the interaction of two people's attachment styles. Therefore, insecurely attached people can have secure relationships if they are in relationships with securely attached people, which kind of goes against like this initial hypothesis of like insecurely avoidant people are more likely to be jealous and insecure, and the patterns of attachment are reflected in their romantic behaviors, because it just basically says if you're in a relationship with a securely attached person, then your relationship is more likely to be like secure. So let's put that into words. So quality of attachment from interaction of two people's attachment type, e.g., insecurely attached can have secure relationships if in a relationship with a secure. Why can't I spell today? Securely attached person. That's all it for like the counterpoints. Um, early influence of early attachment on adult relationships does like stem from which one of Bowlby's theories? I think it's monotonic theory. Yeah, it does go back to Bowlby's like theory on like internal working models, right? So I've got some overall evaluation on Bowlby's theory. We could like tweak this to fit in with um fit in with this specific like theory, or like influence of attachment on adult relationships. So Bowlby rightly emphasized the importance of attachment in infants and children. Indeed, nothing matters more for healthy infant development than having one or more secure attachments. Bowlby put forward for the first ever systematic and comprehensive theory of attachment, and most subsequent theorists have used his main idea. So you could say like it influenced. You can say it influenced this part of psychology like as a whole, I guess. The notion that the infant's attachment to the caregiver is typically strong and robust and has been shown to be correct. According to Bowlby, the infant's attachment to the mother is typically so strong and important that it even when he/she is maltreated by the mother, which is generally the case. Most of the theory's assumptions are too strong and dogmatic. In other words, many of Bowlby's views are exaggerations. For example, there's little support for the monotropic hypothesis. Why can't I speak? Blech. With its emphasis on a single main attachment. So let's see. I'll probably gonna just put more pros because we've got quite a few like cons, criticisms, whatever. Um. So let's see. What could we like say? I guess I don't even know. I think that would be it. I guess. Um. Uh. And we could just put some like general like pros of self reports because this um Hazans and Shavers study is a self report. Um, I can't remember what McCarthy says. Bailey's is a self report and an observation. So, for a love quiz, it gains a lot of qualitative data, which can be more thoroughly analyzed than quantitative data. So self report, large quantity of qualitative. Whenever I know the difference between qualitative and quantitative, it's just when I speak, I just have to make sure I'm actually like saying the correct one because sometimes I know which one it is. It's just like it feels like my brain goes too fast for like what I'm sort of saying. So like I'll be like, oh, it's qualitative data, but for some reason I'll like almost immediately say quantitative data. So I have to make sure to get the right one, you know. Large quantity of qualitative and plus I put large quantity of qualitative data, so it makes me want to say large quantity of quantitative data. It's just it's just a lot. Large quantity of qualitative data. Easier to thorough I don't know how to spell thoroughly. How do you spell thoroughly? I typed it into Google, right? I don't know why I didn't type it into that. Right. I don't know. Easier to thoroughly analyze. Easier than quantitative data. What else? What other like pros? Um, well, Hazen and Shaver's study has a decently sized, like has like a somewhat large like number of participants. And like it has like a large amount of both men and women. Um, so it's not genocentric. It doesn't contain gender bias, so it can be. It's high in population validity because it's easy to generalize to like the general population. So I'll just put decently sized sample. Um, Large amount of both men and women. So can be generalized to the target population. We'll say target population instead of the whole population because we don't know what the whole. I don't know what the whole population. What I don't know what that target population is. Whether it was the whole population or like the population in like America or whatever. So we'll just say target population. That's just easier. Can be generalized to target population, so it's high in population validity, which is a type of external validity. So you could just say high in external validity. For me, for me though, I would say population validity, just validity, just to like kind of guarantee that evaluation mark. Um, what else? There might be one more. So, um, hmm, I don't even know. I mean, we could say something about like something to do with how they operationalize their categories, but I don't particularly not what to say. I think operationalizing stuff it's just like my weakest part or one of my weakest parts um of like research methods and stuff. So and so I'm not really good with like the operationalizing of stuff and that like um evaluation point. There might be another um there might be another positive to this, but I cannot think of this, and I think I'm just gonna end the stream right now. Let me see if there's anyone I want to raid real quickly, like if any mutuals are alive or anything. And no, no mutuals are live, so I'm just gonna end this here. I'll highlight the stream later. I hope you have enjoyed the stream, and I shall see you guys on Friday. I'll probably be doing a sim stream, but like after that sim stream, I do not know what game I'm gonna play after that because I don't want to do a Roblox stream after that. But I kind of want to start a new game series on the channel on here because like I finished the Limits Fortune achievement hunting streams. So I think it's between Franbo and the Lego Ninjago movie game. That I think that's what I said. Um, I think that's what I said on Friday. So I think when it gets closer to like the day of, I will put a poll out on Twitter, um, and ask you guys to vote which one you want. It might be like on a Ninjago movie game because I know that's a longer game